Here we go. Mark 1:7. He announced, "Someone is coming soon who is far greater than I am, so much greater that I am not even worthy to be his slave." Now that's the New Living Translation's version of what John was saying. And so, in order to break that one down, we're going to note that first, remember, the guy was very popular. As we were talking about earlier, how his popularity was crossing demographic lines, right? City folk, country folk, all walks of life seemed to be flocking down to the Jordan to see this guy preach. Even though he had a bit of a scathing and accusatory message to the people, he was popular, and people were coming to hear what he had to say. And the Bible also says that they weren't walking off, shaking their heads, saying, "Who's this guy to judge me?" or "I can't believe this guy is being so rude," or anything like that. It says they were actually confessing their sins and being baptized. And I think one of the things to pull out of here is, I completely lost my train of thought there for a sec. So, being as popular as he was, he was making this statement that we just read. I don't know why I lost my train of thought there, but because this is the exact verse we were just reading. But he said, "Hey, look, you guys think I'm awesome? So someone else is coming who is way more awesome than me. Matter of fact, he's so awesome, I'm not even worthy to, as this says, I'm not even worthy to bend down and unloose his sandal or take off his shoe," or something like that. Later in Mark 6:14, it talks about how even King Herod had heard of John, and it states, "For his name was spread abroad," in there. So I don't think this is a fabricated kind of thing. He had gotten popular down there. And you can imagine that people were probably saying, "Wow, have you been down to the Jordan? Have you seen the crazy hairy guy?" And some people are probably saying stuff like, "Yeah, man, he totally confronted me, changed my life. I did this baptism thing, and I feel different now. I'm gonna change my life a little bit. I feel changed, and I'm gonna change on purpose." Like the stuff we were talking about in earlier episodes here. So John is saying, "Hey, just wait until the real person comes. I'm not the guy, really. I'm the precursor guy. I'm just the voice shouting in the wilderness, helping to prepare the way of the Lord. That the Lord is coming, and he's not me. I'm a preparatory guy." Or like the grilling steaks analogy, "Hey, this is just the marinade, folks. The steaks aren't done yet. Wait till they come off the grill. Then you're going to be fed, and that's going to be tasty." So, let's go back into 1 Samuel 25:41 to get a little more insight into this phenomenon of, well, why does he say, "I'm not even worthy to bend down and loose his sandal"? And this is referring to foot washing. And the significance here is, if people had servants, not everyone did, of course, but if people had servants, and they had a servant staff, then it was the job of the lowest ranking servant to be the one that would bend down and remove the sandals of guests who came into the house and wash their feet. People are walking around in a dusty place and they're wearing sandals. Your feet get dirty pretty bad. So you enter someone's house, you don't just take your shoes off like some Oriental cultures do. You actually wash your feet on top of removing your shoes, And that was the job of the lowest ranking servant, if you had a servant staff. If not, maybe the host would do it. I wasn't alive back then. I haven't done a whole lot of cultural studies, but that's what's going on here. So if you look at 1 Samuel 25:41, she bowed low to. This is when David is getting wives and stuff. You can go back and read the context, but she bowed low to the ground and responded, I, your servant, would be happy to marry David. I would even be willing to become a slave, washing the feet of his servants. So she's kind of saying, I will be, I'm willing to be the lowest servant, the servant that washes the feet of the other servants. So that's an indication of the ranking of servants and who was responsible for washing feet. And so what John is saying here is, you think I'm awesome? You wait till the person I'm pointing to shows up. He's so much more awesome than me. I couldn't even be the lowest servant of the servants to take off his sandal and wash his feet. So you think I'm awesome, people who've come down here to the Jordan and look at me in my hairy tunic? You ain't seen nothing yet. And then we're about to see, as we continue in Mark, what John is talking about.